Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm on the way to Kabul. That's what it is. It's Thursday then. Welcome. We got a couple good grace here today. It was a great, more good news Wednesday, and I assume it'll be the same for Thursday. Jakey, bakey, good to see you there. Good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday, everyone. Let's get the questions rocking and rolling. We are on our way to the airport again. I'm proving that you don't have to be sitting in your closet to do this stuff. You can actually be on the road. I'm in the back seat, as you can see, so don't worry. I know everybody gets worried about mobile Meltzer. I am not driving. Sam, Jesus, my savior, Mikey, Jesse, good to see you all. And Rob Deerdeck, good to see you there as well. Again, you're amazing. Keaton, good to see you. Colleen, happy Cabo Day, and we will pin this up. Anybody want my 5 daily practices, just email me, david@dmeltzer.com. I'll help you find your what, your how, your who, your now, and your why. We'll apply your why to everything you do. It's much better than trying to search for your why. Let's apply your why to what you're doing. Learn to love what you do. You give meaning to everything you see. All right, we'll rock and roll here. What's your favorite spot to visit in Cabo? The office. So that's my favorite spot, and I like it. I like to eat, drink, enjoy, and jump in the water. So many great places in Cabo. Thank you there. Looking here. Did I see Kristen here already? Let me see. Who is here? How is here? Looking very good. Oh yeah, look at that. We'll start early. Kristen McCormick and Jenna Sumner, co-owners of the Upside Delivered. Looking at how we whoa, it's good branding that way. See, you did that on purpose. You did that on purpose. You went sideways so then we could say it's upsided delivered. You guys upsided yourselves. That's beautiful, Brandon. Coming from a marketing expert, bravo. I bow to you. What a great way to start. You should do that every time. That's awesome. Well, give us a little bit of background on Upside Delivered. It's Upsided Delivered at the Upside Delivered. How are you guys this morning?
Good. Thank you so much.
It's so cool.
We are a children's subscription box service, and our goal is to help families build positive mental health habits for life. With the Upside Delivered, we wanted to find a way to reach families beyond the counseling office, to have support and resources delivered right to their homes.
So Jenna and I, we have a private practice, and over the past 2 years, we've really seen a tremendous increase in anxiety and depression among children and teens. Mental health is so important today, probably more so than ever before. And so, David, we know that you talk a lot about investing in yourself, and we have a question for you today. And the question is, how do we get our message out there that this product is a way of investing in your child's mental health? And how do we get parents to see the value in investing in their child's mental health?
I think, two things we need to do is, one, make sure that you continue to build your credibility in the space, looking and seeing what those messages of the subscription service are, what the capabilities, the reasons, impacts are of the subscription in order to effectuate the consistency of reinforcing the optimism and the upsided viewpoints and perspectives and the ability to love ourselves and give meaning to what we see. I believe, the problem is separateness, right? And it's not just that caused by the pandemic, it's by media, by how we're interacting with our own social and economic spheres. And children are a victim of a new type of perspective. And so I think getting credibility would be number one. And then the biggest superpower that you have, as you know in your practice, is the emotional connection. I have a saying, I was blessed to make sports my business. And there's nothing that people get more emotionally tied to than sports, except for one thing. So somebody's willing to pay, $69 million for a baseball card because there's an emotional attachment to that card, or a signature on a football they'll pay $1,000 for. The only thing that has more value is our children. So I've seen mothers, for example, starve so they could have quarterback training for their son. And that, beyond the sports side, imagine their health and happiness. I have a saying, what parents want from their kids are only four things: health, happiness, appreciation, and love. And that's what your subscription gives to the children: health, happiness, appreciation, and love. That's all a parent wants for their child. They can force them to be doctors, lawyers, and failures. They can tell them the fetus isn't fully developed till after graduate school. They can put all this pressure. But if we can reinforce the fact that all they really want, and that's what you're selling the capability of happiness and health, appreciation, and love. And I think once you get very clearly defined, now you can strengthen your signal by asking others to help you. So in person, on the phone, coming on things like this, social media, traditional media, text, email, be very, very aggressive, be ferocious and Buddhas when it comes to marketing. Be ferocious about asking and Buddhist about accepting and allowing for others to help you. This is a huge collective consciousness. You're a huge issue. You can change the world, impact the world. The reason I wanted to have you guys on, it is aligned completely with my mission to empower over 1 billion people to be happy. And it's a generational thing. Our children are suffering right now.
Yes, they are.
And I'm getting choked up because, literally, that's why I started doing this. 12-year-olds should not be committing suicide.
No.
12-year-olds, right? And they shouldn't be depressed, by the way, either. But to the point where, the numbers are rising so fast. So, hit people with credibility and then attach emotionally and ask for help. That's the 3-step process that will build your brand and allow people to utilize your service in order to effectuate what is a great business and a great cause, right? We can make a lot of money to help a lot of people and still have a lot of fun. And I know with your boxes, that's the core of what you're doing.
It's a great cause. And it is about connectedness. It is about connecting us as one and not being so.
Let me ask you a question. What's the number one thing or cause that you see? I know I answered your question. What's the number one thing you see is causing the depression and anxiety? Because it's not the fear of the pandemic, because children aren't getting sick, right? The majority of kids do not get or any type of severe COVID effect. But there's a different effect going on pre-COVID, COVID, and now it will be post-COVID. What's the number one thing that's causing the anxiety and depression in our kids?
Well, one of the things I think that is definitely is the overscheduling. We live in the Northeast, but our children are just running from here to there there is not the downtime, there is not the space, there is not the quiet that provides all of that creativity and wholeness that we all need, not just children. So I don't know, Kristen, what do you think?
Yeah, that, and I would say too, the lack of, well, right now the pandemic has certainly brought it out, but that lack of people connection, right? And feeling like you're connected. You kind of spoke to that before. You feeling like you're connected to somebody, to something, you belong, and that positive self-worth that can really mitigate some of that anxiety and mood stuff going on, and just that there's a purpose there, which I think the pandemic has exacerbated a bit.
What can a parent do to help that connectedness? What are some of the things? I know obviously you provide a lot of practical and fun things within the context for 5 to 10-year-olds in the subscription service, but what can they do in order to effectuate that connectedness?
Honestly, David, there's a tremendous amount they can do. And I think one of the most important things is to get in touch with themselves and find out how they're doing and make sure they have the bandwidth to whatever it is. And if they don't, that's okay, because children know. They know when you have the bandwidth to react and when you don't. So taking a little bit of self-care and a little bit of time to make sure you're, just to even know where you are, even if it's not in a good place. I think that's one of the keys.
Yeah, I was going to say there's a word, acknowledgement. And if we can acquire the knowledge of ourselves and of our children and be present. I have a philosophy of a minimum of 2 minutes a day with my teenage daughters, a minimum of 30 minutes a day with my 11-year-old son, minimum of 30 minutes a day with my wife, and a minimum of 1 minute a day with my own mom as well. But these are minimums. I know people don't listen. So they're minimums. And I will tell you that 2 minutes a day with a teenager is worth more than 2 hours on a Saturday by far. And that's because I can acknowledge them. I acquire the knowledge of who they are, and I accept them and appreciate them and love them for who they are so that they can do the same for themselves. And, I really think the consistency of the subscription is a brilliant mechanism in order to effectuate what I call the conscious continuum of what you're doing. It's such blessed work. I wanted everyone to know about you. They
Thank you.
can reach you at the Upside Delivered, upsidedelivered.com. Anything last ask for everyone out there. Let's save our children. Let's create happiness, love, appreciation, and health within the most important generation of ours, the 5 to 10-year-olds. So any last comments or requests?
Embrace the calm.
Embrace the calm. Find your peace. Be a ferocious Buddha. Find your center, no matter how old you are. Thank you both so much. Please reach out. I will be happy to help and amplify your message. It's such a great thing you're doing. I appreciate you so much. You are completely aligned with the philosophy of making money to help people and have more fun.
Thank you,
Thank
David.
you so much, David.
Safe
we appreciate
travels.
it.
Thank you. I will think of you in Cabo. Take care. Bye-bye. All right. We're rocking and rolling here. On our way to the airport, the mobile Meltzer is here, providing appreciation, love, of course, health and happiness. Have your non-negotiables in your life and pass those through to your children. You don't have to spend all day with them. You just have to acknowledge them for a minimum amount of time every day in order to effectuate that connectivity, that continuum that you want. I saw my other friend here. Let's bring him on. I saw him, Ken. Here we go. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We have Ken Rosenblood and the Obvious Solutions. Welcome, Ken has a question for me. We're sitting here under a bridge. That's very good. Colleen, good to see you. Let me try that again. Maybe I mishit that. All right, there we go. Remember, if you want those 5 daily practices, knowing your what, your who, your how, your now, your why, david@dmeltzer.com. Speaking of applying your why, we have the CEO of Obvious Solutions. Ken, you have a question for me. Give me a little bit of background.
Good morning. It's Obvious Solutions. I love neologisms. I love to make up our own words. So my question is, have you taken a memo today?
A memo, help me out. What is a memo?
A me moment. A moment to gather yourself with intention.
Oh, I love it.
A moment to do something good for yourself, beneficial, any healthy behavior.
Every day. So I am a routine person. I start my day at 9 p.m. Last night. That's the beginning of my day. I have an unwinding routine, which is all for myself to put my body, mind, and soul into a recovery phase for my body that I can efficiently recover to start physically the day at the highest frequency, and then utilizing my connectivity to the unconscious and subconscious mind while I sleep, so that my meditation at 4 a.m. when I wake up at a plateau, not the bottom of the hill like Camus, the stranger, right? The myth of Sisyphus. Most people start their day, they're just redoing the same thing, pushing
Correct.
a boulder to the top of the hill. I plateau and grow by finding a new baseline, transcending the higher source of information and download that I receive when I sleep into the day. And so I think it's important to understand it. A memo is, for me, almost all of the day. I try to spend minutes and moments outside of that memo, meaning where am I triggered to have interference between me and that great source that I'm connected to. See, memo to me is understanding and acknowledging what I'm connected to so I can allow it to come through me with appreciation for others.
I hear you 110%. Following up on your last guests, and you asked about, what's causing this in our children. I think it's very much technology, and it's shocking, but it's going to be June, and June is the iPhone's birthday. It's only been 14 years, and what the iPhone has done for us, and maybe not so much for us as far as we're enmeshed in this thing. It's like Tron. We're in it. Our children need to take their breaks. They need to take their memos and focus entirely upon their own existence and their own well-being. And our goal at Obvious is to get people to mind over themselves. And I believe, because I'm a geek, I'm never going to give up my phone. I'm never going to give up my computers. That there's a way to take this technology and allow it to help us and enable our mindfulness towards ourselves.
I love that. I think exactly in the same perspective of three different lenses that technology allow us to enhance. One is productivity, which is a very positive lens to provide more value and service to ourselves and others. The next one is accessibility. How accessible does it make and connect us to others? And how are we accessing the information that we need? Those are two, no pun intended, obvious solutions and lenses. And then finally, the third is most overlooked with technology. And you're looking at someone who ran the world's first smartphone, right? I had the PCE phone in 1999, Samsung manufactured Windows device. I obviously wasn't a great CEO, or the iPhone wouldn't be so popular, and the PCE phone would be. But more importantly, the lens of gratitude is lost within technology. You see, the lens of gratitude allows technology to help us seek the light, the love, and the lessons in everything, not separate us from the light, the love, and the lessons from everything. And I think if we can give the meaning to technology that it was intended for, and we can help facilitate through wonderful people like Kristen and Jenna, wonderful people like you at Obvious, we'll be able to utilize the power of technology in order to unite us, to bond us, to appreciate the similarities that we all have, as well as learn to appreciate the differences.
Correct. And appreciate ourselves.
You got it. That Mimo is my new term. I am going to coin it in the blessing of Obvious. Make sure everyone goes to obvus.me, which I love. And you will find also at OBVUS Solutions on Instagram. Anywhere else people should reach again?
Thank you. No, that is it. We are there. I wanted to ask you one other question, and
Sure.
It's just a riddle. How many psychiatrists does it take to change a light bulb?
2.
No,
How many?
1, but the light bulb has to really want to change.
Oh, I love that. And that is so true.
Yeah.
And I want to change as well. So anybody, any therapist out there, please reach out to me. I want to change. So thank you so much. That's awesome.
Thank you. Enjoy your trip. I'll be in Mexico next week.
I'll leave it in a good place for you, okay?
Thank you, sir. Have a
You got
wonderful
it, Ken.
day. Take care.
Obvious, great man, and it's obvious, no pun intended. OBVUSsolutions.com, OBVUS.me. You can find Ken in a great solution. Have your Mimo every day and find that one thing that will help you change, but you have to have the desire to change. David at Meltzer.com. You want the 5 daily practices? Know your what, your who, your how, your now, and apply the why. Go ahead, reach out to me. If you want my book, ebook, audiobook, of course, I'll sign a book, send it to you, pay for shipping. Not a problem. All you got to do is email me, David at dmeltzer.com. Hola, ¿qué pasa? ¿Por qué no comes la comida, amigos? Ven aquí, por favor. Es David Meltzer, David at dmeltzer.com. I'm building up with Hot Smart a huge Latin following with my content translated into Spanish. Gracias, Jesus, por tu trabajo más bueno. Que lo pase bien. Frank Zapata está aquí, por favor. And let's rock and roll with an English question. Here we go. What's your first thought when you wake up in an operating space that isn't from the place of love? Oh, that's very obvious for me. Whenever I identify a trigger, the trigger can be a person, place, thing, thought, idea, energy. Whenever I see that trigger and identify it and understand the wrong, something that doesn't have the higher power of thinking, my body, the blood back into the brain, which has a higher power of thinking that connects me to a greater source of awareness, vibration, or frequency, and then I roll in the right direction. Remember, if you're outside of that operating space and there's interference between you and love, light, and lessons, the truth do is remember you're on fire. And when you're on fire, you just got to stop, drop, and roll. Great question. I appreciate you. Frank, are you here, my friend? Let's see. Not quite. Mike Ashabi, give me a call later. I'm on the way to the airport. I know you had reached out to me Good to see you there as well. Here we go. If you were a car, which car would you be and why? That's so good. If I was a car, what car would I be? My wife said something. Efficient. She said I'd be an efficient car. So I guess I'd be a Tesla. That's a pretty efficient car. I was thinking more like the Model T, because I'd like to be the original. That worked for me as well. But definitely not a Ferrari. I'm not buying things I don't need to impress people I don't like anymore. I'd rather rent a Ferrari than be a Ferrari. All right, very cool. Hey, Patricia, good to see you there as well. Let's get another question in. We're almost at the airport. How do I maintain the energy to be, quote unquote, always working harder? I don't work, and harder doesn't make sense to me. And be positive some days I don't want to do anything. Well, first of all, you get to do things. You don't got to do them. There's no such thing as work. There's activity you get paid for and activity you don't get paid for. There's no such thing as harder unless you're creating resistance to what you want. See, if you allow things to happen by enjoying the consistent, persistent pursuit of the objective or milestone that you're looking for to surpass, you won't feel this way but for minutes and moments. Instead, spending days, as you suggest, or even weeks and months and years in the wrong trajectory with the wrong perspective, giving the wrong meaning to what you're trying to do, try to shift your paradigm. Look at things as activity you get paid for, activity you don't get paid for. Learn to enjoy the consistent, persistent pursuit of your potential by utilizing 4 key values in life, which is gratitude to give you that perspective, forgiveness to give you that peace, accountability to give you that control, and the difference of motivation and inspiration to allow you to clear the interference in minutes and moments so that you can feel that enjoyment while you're pursuing your potential. There's no such thing as the pursuit of happiness. Happiness is the pursuit. All right, great questions this morning. All right, let's see, Frankie Banky here yet. We are pulling up to the airport. What was your favorite part of being a sports agent? The sports, man, the games, the parties. That was my favorite part. The people. What truly is my favorite part of being a sports agent was surrounding myself with the right people and the right idea. Meaning that to be a professional athlete, not just a professional athlete, at Lee Steinberg Sports Entertainment and Sports One Marketing with Hall of Fame quarterback Warren Moon, we were around the best athletes of the professional athletes, meaning I learned the spirit of excellence. I took on the energy and frequency of those around me, elevating my own awareness by understanding how consistent, persistent behavior set you apart into the 1% of the 1%, understanding how aggregation of positive focus, attention, and intention created these coincidences, and also quantum memory, seeing that some athletes had unbelievable quantum talent, but didn't take advantage of it with a consistent, persistent perspective of enjoying it and pursuing their own potential, seeing the subtleties of success in that spirit of excellence. That was the most important and most beneficial and enriching, fulfilling, passionate, purposeful, and profitable part about being a sports agent. By the way, I know a lot of kids out there call me, ask me, email me, text me, DM me. They want to be sports agents and ask me what they need to do. Only 2 things you got to be good at to be a sports agent. 1, getting a client, but even 2, more importantly, keeping one. If you can get a client and keep them, man, you'll be a great sports agent. I will promise you that. And there's a lot of opportunity, a lot of lessons to learn. You can apply so many different things. You don't need a law degree, a business degree. You need to be able to get a client and keep it. That's all you need to do to be a sports agent. And Lee Steinberg, I got to tell you, he's one of the best because he could get the clients since he graduated Berkeley Law School, and he can keep them. And he keeps them for life because he's kind to his future self, and he does good deeds. Even though he's humans, made mistakes, setbacks, missed exits in his life, the guy's incredible, and that's why he represents Patrick Mahomes, the best of the best, highest paid athlete in the NFL, because he knows how to get a client and keep them. All right, everyone, we're rocking and rolling. If my friend Frank's not here, we're going to call it a day early. Frank, you can come on tomorrow. I'd be happy to have you again. Thank you, everyone, so much. Remember, if you want my 5 daily practices or my book, David@dmeltzer.com, Know your what, your who, your how, your now, and apply your why. Ebook, audiobook, I'll sign the book, send it to you, pay for shipping. As always, everyone. Oh, training tomorrow, by the way, is 6 a.m. Pacific time. Rocking and rolling. It's BYOQ. You bring the questions. I'll bring the answers. If I didn't answer your question today, come on tomorrow. IG onto almost 50,000 people registered for training tomorrow. Christina Madrigal, great to see you. Mike, give me a call. We're pulling into the airport. Remember, most importantly, everybody, be kind to your future self and do good deeds. We'll see you tomorrow.